Welcome to Bedtime Fizz. Find your most comfortable position and let the day's worries drift away. Tonight's story is one of quiet custodianship, of holding space for the troubled and the forgotten. It's a story designed not to startle, but to settle you, to pull you into a deep and restorative sleep. So, before we begin, make sure you're cozy. And if these gentle, creepy tales help you find rest, subscribing supports this channel. Now, let's dim the lights and journey together into the silent, subterranean world of the archive. The Midnight Vault is not a place you find on any public map. It exists in the climate-controlled sub-basement of the Wiltshire Museum, accessible only by a private elevator that requires 2 separate keys. You are its archivist, as the heavy, soundproof door seals behind you with a definitive hiss. The world above vanishes. The air here is perpetually still, cool, and dry, smelling of ozone from the humming filtration system and the faint, sweet tang of aged paper. Motion-activated lights flicker on down the central aisle, revealing a space that feels less like a storage room and more like a library where the books are all sleeping, and some of them are having bad dreams. Your domain is a labyrinth of steel shelving units, each holding sealed glass cases. Within them lie the objects of your study. They are not labeled by century or culture, but by their unique psychometric signatures. Your first task is always the same, the initial rounds. You walk the aisles slowly, a digital tablet in your hand, not just looking, but listening with a sense deeper than your ears. Case A7, a Neolithic hand axe. Its echo is a low, persistent thrum of primal fear and the phantom scent of blood on cold stone. Case D2, a porcelain doll from the 1920s. Its presence is a silent, watching coldness. You feel the weight of its glass-eyed gaze on the back of your neck as you pass. This is your duty. You are not a collector. You are a warden, a keeper of the echo, and the long, silent night shift has just begun. The catalogue of echoes is your life's work, a living document of resonance and memory. The previous archivist, a man named Alistair who retired after 40 years, left you meticulous notes. His handwriting is a precise, spidery script that fills the margins of the official logs with poetic, yet chillingly accurate observations. For the Neolithic hand axe, the official record might read Object A7. Obsidian blade, circa 3500 BCE. But in the margin, Alistair has written, Echo, a frantic heart. The taste of copper holds the moment the first man realized the tool could become a weapon. You continue your rounds, your own senses aligning with his descriptions. You pause at case F11, which contains a simple brass compass from a ship lost in the Bermuda Triangle. The official record notes its failure to point north. Alistair's note is more evocative. Echo, perpetual vertigo, the sensation of falling through a cold, starless ocean. A needle spinning in a silent scream. As you stand before the glass, you don't just read the words, you feel them. A slight dizziness washes over you, a disorienting pull as if the floor has tilted. It lasts only a moment before the compass's influence is noted on your tablet and you consciously release it, the feeling ebbing away like a receding wave. This is the core of your work. You are a scribe for sensations, a translator for the emotional residue trapped within wood, metal, and stone. A quirky tidbit you learn from Alistair's journal surfaces. He believed that objects associated with intense, repetitive emotions, like a nun's rosary or executioner's axe, develop the strongest echo their purpose worn into their essence like a groove in a record. Historians still argue whether the concept of object memory is a legitimate field of study or mere romantic projection. For you, standing in this silent vault, the debate is irrelevant. The memory is real. The compass spins its story of loss. The hand acts its tale of fear. And you are the quiet, steady witness, documenting the ghost in the machine before moving on to the next shelf, the next story, the next soft, whispering piece of the past. The Weeping Locket is your next stop, a piece filed under case G4. It is a simple, tarnished silver oval, no larger than your thumbnail. According to the accession notes, it was found clutched in the hand of a woman who had jumped from a bridge in 1882. The official record is stark. Alice's marginalia is heartbreakingly specific. Echo, sorrow, the chill of river mist, the sound of a single, soft sob, repeated every 47 seconds. You stand before its case, your tablet ready. You don't need to look at the clock. You feel it coming, a building pressure in the air, a subtle drop in temperature around the glass. And then, right on time, you hear it, not with your ears, but as a vibration in the center of your mind. A woman's soft, broken sob. It is a clean, pure sound of grief, devoid of hysteria, followed by the phantom sensation of cold, damp air against your cheeks, as if standing in a river mist. The echo lasts for precisely 3 seconds before fading, leaving behind a profound, aching silence. You make a note on your tablet, echo stable, resonance pattern unchanged. This is not a frightening experience. It is a somber one, a ritual of remembrance. You are not haunted by a ghost. You are tending to a wound in time, a moment of such intense emotion that it became a permanent feature of the object. You learn a historical fact from the file. During the Victorian era, mourning jewelry was often made with the hair of the deceased, a physical token to keep the memory close. This locket, however, contains no hair. It seems the memory was not sealed inside it, but carved into its very atomic structure by a final, devastating act. A quirky tidbit from your studies floats to mind. Some parapsychologists theorize that traumatic events can create a psychic photograph, imprinting an image or sensation onto a nearby object. The Weeping Locket is not a photograph. It is a recording. A single, terrible moment, playing on a loop for over a century. And your role is not to stop it, but to bear witness, to acknowledge its pain, and in doing so, grant it a small measure of peace in the endless night of the archive. The director's rules are not suggestions. They are the bedrock of survival in the vault, a sacred text passed from one archivist to the next. You keep a copy of them laminated and clipped to your tablet. Their stark, capitalized letters a constant reminder of the delicate balance you maintain. You recite them silently to yourself as you work. Never speak to the whispering mask. Its words are not for the living. It offers knowledge in exchange for sanity. Never wear the mourning rings. They do not mourn the dead. They mourn for you, and they will make their prophecy come true. Always secure the music box. Its melody does not end. It widens the space between thoughts until there is only the tune. These are not arbitrary prohibitions. Each rule was written in blood, or at least in the aftermath of a predecessor's breakdown. Alice's journals contain vague, terrifying references to the incident with a mask that led to Rule 1. The rings, a set of 3 jet bands in case H8, seem to suck the light from the air around them. A note on their case, written in a shaky hand that isn't Alice's, reads simply, It showed me the wall. You don't know what that means, and you have no desire to find out. The music box, in case J1, is the most mechanically mundane and psychically volatile object in the collection. It's a simple, rosewood box with a tiny, tarnished ballerina figure. Its rule is the most practical, and therefore the most critical. Its latch is a heavy, brass mechanism that must be pushed until you feel and hear a solid, resonant click. If it is not fully secured, the box will open and the melody will begin. It is not a loud melody, but it is insidious. Historians still argue whether the first music boxes were created as charming novelties or as sophisticated tools for psychological conditioning. This one feels like the latter. Your nightly check of its latch is the most important part of your rounds, a ritual you perform with focused, deliberate care. You press the latch. Click. You test the lid. It does not budge. Only then do you move on, the rules echoing in your mind, a protective mantra in the profound and waiting quiet. The shadow in the glass resides in case K9, a standing cheval mirror from a French boudoir, its ornate gold leaf framing a pane of old, slightly warped glass. Its official record states it was rescued from a fire that claimed its owner. Alistair's note is more direct. Echo, mimicry. It learns by watching. Do not make sudden movements. You approach it as you always do, with a slow, measured pace. Your reflection is distorted, your features softened and blurred by the imperfections of the antique glass. You stand still, observing. For the first minute, nothing is amiss. Then, you see it. You blink. In the reflection, your mirror self does not blink in perfect sync. It blinks a full second later, its movements languid, curious, as if it is just learning how. A cold, static sensation prickles across your skin. This is the mirror's echo. It is not a malevolent spirit, but a vacant intelligence, a blank slate that absorbs and replicates the presence before it. It is practicing being you. You do not react with fear. Fear is a sudden, chaotic energy that the mirror would feast upon. Instead, you maintain your archivist calm. You slowly raise your hand. The reflection in the mirror raises its hand a moment later, its fingers curling with a slight, unnatural stiffness. You are not being haunted, you are being studied. A quirky tidbit from a physics book comes to mind. Certain materials, like glass, are amorphous solids, their atomic structure never truly settling, forever in a state of slow flow. You wonder if this physical instability is what makes it such a receptive vessel for psychic impressions. You lower your hand, and the reflection follows suit. The interaction is complete. You make a note on your tablet, *K9, mimicry behavior observed and stabilized. No signs of independent agency. You turn and walk away, and you do not look back. The rules do not forbid looking at the mirror. They forbid teaching it the wrong things. And you have just given it a lesson in perfect, professional calm. The humming dagger in case L5 is one of your most demanding charges. It is not a large object, a bronze ritual blade from a forgotten Mesopotamian cult. Its surface etched with spirals that seem to pull at the light. Its official record is brief. Alistair's note is a warning. Echo, a predatory frequency. It seeks resonance. Do not let your heart race in its presence. As you approach its case, you feel it before you see it. A low, subaudible hum vibrates in the air, a sensation felt in your teeth and the bones of your skull. It is not a sound, but a pressure. The dagger's echo is not a memory or an emotion. It is a pure, aggressive energy. You stop a few feet away and consciously slow your breathing, pulling your own biorhythm into a slower, more steady state. You are a rock in a river, letting the current flow around you without being moved. The dagger's hum shifts, its pitch changing subtly. It is testing you. It is trying to find the frequency of your heartbeat, your faith, any erratic energy it can latch onto and amplify. This is its nature. It was created to dominate, and in the absence of a living sacrifice, it practices on you. Historians still argue whether ancient ceremonial blades were ritually killed to release their spirit or to contain it within the object forever. The humming dagger feels very much alive and very much contained. You stand your ground, your own calm a shield against its probing energy. After a long minute, the hum settles back into its baseline, dormant state. It has not found purchase. You have not fought it. You have simply refused to play its game. You note on your tablet, *L5, resonance stable, containment effective, * you move on, leaving the dagger to its silent, humming vigil. The encounter is draining, but it is also a reaffirmation of your purpose. You are the steady hand that keeps the tempest in its bottle, the calm that contains the storm. The broken rule happens not through any fault of your own, but through a failure in the fabric of the vault itself. A power flicker, so brief it barely registers, surges through the building. The lights dip for a fraction of a second, and the complex locks on the cases emit a synchronized, soft click as they reset. It is a sound you have been trained to dread. Your eyes snap to the end of the aisle, to case J1. The music box. In the sudden, absolute silence that follows the flicker, you hear it. A tiny, delicate, tinkling melody begins to play. It is not loud. It is barely more than the sound of a wind chime in a distant room. But in the profound quiet of the archive, it is a screaming siren. The latch, reliant on a constant electrical current, has failed. The box is open. Rule 3 has been broken. The effect is instantaneous and violent. The humming dagger in case L5 erupts into a frantic, shivering whine. The weeping locket's soft sub fractures into a sharp, panicked gasp. From the aisle containing the whispering mask, you feel a sudden, oppressive pressure, as if the air itself has become thick and hungry. The music box's melody is a key, and it is unlocking every agitated echo in the vault. The delicate ecosystem of contained energies you have spent the night maintaining is tearing itself apart. The shadows between the shelves seem to deepen and writhe. This is no longer a place of quiet study. It is a cage on the verge of breaking open. Your training screams at you to run, but a deeper instinct, the Archivist core, takes over. Running is chaos, and chaos is what these objects feed on. You must re-establish order. The melody is the problem. The box must be closed. The calming ritual begins with a single, deliberate breath. You block out the dagger's shriek, the locket's panic, the oppressive hunger from the mask's aisle. Your entire world narrows to the soft, tinkling melody and the rosewood box at the end of the row. You do not run. You walk. Your pace is the same, steady, measured tread you use for your rounds. A statement of belonging and control in the face of rising chaos. This is the most important round of your life. The music box's tune is simple, a child's lullaby, but each note seems to vibrate in the center of your mind, pushing against your thoughts, making it hard to focus. It promises a sleepy, thoughtless peace, but you know it is a lie. It is a peace that erases the self. You reach case J1. The lid is open. The tiny ballerina spins in a slow, relentless circle. You do not look at the mirror. You do not glance toward the mask. Your focus is absolute. With hands that refuse to tremble, you reach out. The air around the box is cold, a void that the melody has created. You grasp the lid. The moment your fingers make contact with the rosewood, a wave of psychic static washes over you. 1,000 sleepy, inviting thoughts that are not your own. It would be so easy to just listen, to let go. You shut the lid. The click of the latch engaging is the most beautiful sound you have ever heard. The melody stops. The silence that rushes back in is not the quiet of before. It is a stunned, grateful silence. The humming dagger's whine cuts off, reverting to its low, dormant thrum. The weeping locket's gasp softens back into its familiar, sorrowful sob. The pressure from the mask's aisle recedes. You stand there for a long moment, your hands still on the box, your breath slowly returning to normal. You have not defeated the objects. You have reminded them of the rules. You have re-established the container. And in doing so, you have shown them a strength they understand and, in their own strange ways, respect. The archive is safe once more. The crisis has passed, leaving behind only the gentle, familiar hum of contained echoes and the profound relief of order restored. The understanding settles over you in the wake of the restored silence, a profound and quiet revelation. The objects were not trying to escape. The panic, the agitation, it wasn't an attack. It was a reaction, a cry of distress from things that are, at their core, defined by the order you provide. The vault is not a prison. It is a sanctuary. The glass cases are not cells, but protective shells. Without the structure, the rules, the calm presence of the archivist, the echoes are just chaotic energies, lost and frightened in their own eternal loops. They crave the stability you represent. You walk back through the aisles, your steps slow and deliberate. The objects feel different now. The humming dagger's energy is no longer predatory, but watchful. The weeping locket's sorrow feels more contained, more at peace. Even the shadow in the glass holds your reflection with a perfect, still synchronicity, the lesson learned. They are not monsters. They are patients. And you are their quiet, steadfast caretaker. Your fear has been entirely replaced by a deep, resonant sense of purpose. Historians still argue whether the primary role of a museum is preservation or interpretation. Here in the vault, the answer is clear. It is custodianship. It is the act of holding space for the past, no matter how troubled, and granting it the dignity of a peaceful rest. A quirky tidbit from Alistair's final journal entry comes to mind. He wrote, "They are not haunted. They are lonely, and loneliness, given enough time, becomes a kind of power." You finally understand. Your nightly rounds, the cataloging, the rules, they are not a defense. They are a conversation, a way of saying, I am here, you are seen, you are contained. And in that acknowledgement, the lonely power of the echoes is soothed, transformed from something volatile into something serene. The archive is not a place of terror, but a hospice for the echoes of time, and you are its most devoted nurse. The guardian sleep is not something that comes to you, but something that descends upon the vault itself. The pale, gray light of dawn begins to filter through the single, reinforced window near the ceiling, a column of soft illumination that cuts through the artificial dark. As the light grows, the archive changes. The active, watchful presence of the objects recedes, pulling back into their cases, their echoes softening from a hum to a whisper and then to a silence that feels deeply rested. The weeping locket's sorrowful cycle slows, the space between sobs stretching into a long, quiet exhalation. The humming dagger's vibration settles into a frequency so low it becomes one with the building's own foundational hum. The night's work is done. You make your final rounds, no longer needing the tablet. This is a ritual of farewell. You pass each case, not as an inspector, but as a guardian checking on sleeping charges. The objects are at peace, their turbulent energies pacified by the coming day. The rules have held. The balance has been maintained. You feel a weary, profound satisfaction. The crisis with a music box now feels like a necessary part of the rhythm, a reminder of the importance of your vigilance, and a testament to your ability to restore calm. You reach the heavy door and place your hand on the cool metal. A final glance back shows the vault in perfect order, the rows of cases silent and still, bathed in the gentle dawnlight. They are not just stored, they are dreaming, and you have been the warden of their dreams. You key in the code, the lock disengages with a soft hiss, and you step out, sealing the door behind you. The shift is over. The archive is safe, and as you ride the elevator up to the waking world, you carry with you the deep, resonant quiet of a duty fulfilled, a silence so profound and heavy it feels less like an absence and more like a blanket, pulling you gently down into a well-deserved and perfectly peaceful sleep. The archive is sealed. The echoes have settled back into their silent, slumbering states, their stories safely held within glass and steel until the next nightfall. The frantic energy of the broken rule has been soothed, the delicate balance restored by a calm and steady hand. There is nothing left to catalog, nothing left to secure. The night's vigil is complete. Let the deep, institutional quiet of the vault settle over you now. Let the memory of the humming dagger and the weeping locket fade into the soft background, their energies muted and calm. Your watch has ended. All is contained. All is still. There is no more work to be done, no more rules to follow. Only rest, deep, dreamless, and undisturbed. Allow your mind to grow as quiet as the vault at dawn. Let go and sleep. Sweet dreams.